Alright guys and gals, back again with another video for you guys and gals here this evening. And today, or this evening rather, what I want to go over with you guys and gals is I want to go over and give you guys and gals an in-depth look at the ZY Play companion app for your Smooth Q gimbal. Now, before we dive into the app and I show y'all everything that the app is capable of, I want to go over how you would pair up the app and the gimbal to your device so you can start using your Smooth Q gimbal and the companion app itself. But before we do that, there are some prerequisites that you have to make sure are done before you can start using the app itself. So let's cover that first. Now, starting off, excuse me, if you're on Android, you need to have your Bluetooth and your location settings turned on. If you're using an iOS device, you only need to have your Bluetooth turned on, okay? That's how the app itself will pair up with your device and pair the gimbal to your device to be used in the app. And that's also how the app will ask for permissions so you can grant the app its necessary permissions for use. Okay, so we're using Android here today, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the Bluetooth, and we're going to turn on location. Okay, just like so. Now, don't worry about pairing up the gimbal to your phone using the standard Bluetooth. For right now, the only thing you need to be worried about is having the Bluetooth on. So we're just going to hit done on this screen here. Alright, then your device is ready. The next thing you want to do now is go onto the Play Store and you want to download the ZY Play app. Okay, and you want to make sure you update it to the current version. You want the most up-to-date version so you have all the features and functions and all the bugs are as gone as they can be. There are a few bugs still that I'm going to cover with you guys and gals, but you definitely want to rock the most up-to-date version so you have the latest features of the ZY Play app. Okay, so once you've jumped on the Play Store and you've downloaded the app and you've made sure that your location and the Bluetooth are on your device, and the next thing you want to do is put your device, you decide what device you want to use, put your device into the gimbal, and then you want to make sure you power on the gimbal. Alright, now you're ready. Next thing you want to do is launch the ZY Play app. Okay, now when you launch the app, it's going to load up. You might get an advertisement or two, just wait for it to pass. It's going to go away, and then it will bring you to this screen right here. Okay, it will ask you to grant it the necessary permissions. So you go ahead and grant it the permissions that you're comfortable with. Now those permissions you only need to have granted while the app is in use. So if you're running a newer version of Android, in particular Android 10, you just set the permission up to while the app is in use. And while you're using the app, that's when it will have the necessary permissions. When you're not using the app, it won't have access to any of those permissions. So no need to worry about rogue power drain or any of that. Alright, so once you've granted the necessary permissions, you'll be dropped into this page here. And you can see all the different models of Smooth Gimbal that Zhiyun produces. So for this video here today, we're talking about the Smooth Q gimbal. So what you need to do is tap on that. And then it's going to take you to this screen right here. Okay, and then across the bottom, we have different settings and functions that you can do. Alright. And then right here, you see a picture of the gimbal and you see a Connect Now button. So we tap on Connect Now. It's going to turn on the Bluetooth. It's going to scan for nearby devices. And it's going to connect up your device to the gimbal itself. And then you'll be good to go. And if everything is done correctly, you will see a model number of the gimbal pop up with a blue check mark right next to it. And then down below it, you'll see an Enter Now. If we tap on Enter Now, it will take us directly into the ZY Play camera app. So now we're launched into the ZY Play camera app, and we can get started and start using the app to compose photos or videos, so on and so forth. Now let's take a second to go over all of the different modes and the different shortcuts in the app Then we're going to wrap this video up. Now we're going to do this from left to right, top to bottom. Okay, so here we go. Starting off in the upper left hand corner, y'all will see the little house icon. This will take you back to the previous menu that you were in. Okay, just to show y'all there. So you tap on the house, it takes you back. Let's jump back in. Alright, boom. Right next to that, we have the Bluetooth icon indicator. This will let you guys and gals know that everything is connected up appropriately. Now you can also disconnect the gimbal from your device if you want to, just by coming here, tapping on that, and then hitting disconnect. So that's how you would do that. If you just want to use the gimbal by itself and use a different camera app, you could disconnect it from there. Then going across, we have a battery percentage indicator. This is the battery percentage for the gimbal itself, not your device. So if you are ever concerned as to what the overall battery was on your gimbal and you didn't want to look in the user manual to see what the flashing lights mean, if you're using the app, then you get a nice battery percentage of what battery the gimbal has left in it. Okay? Right next to that, we have the flash indicator, so you can tell if the flash is on your device or if it's off. Then directly next to that, in the upper right hand corner, we have a gear icon with a C in it, which will take you into some more of the subsettings for the ZY Play app. We're going to actually cover that one last, okay? Now, going back over to the left hand side, just below the house, we have a indicator as to whether or not we're using the video controls or we're using the photo controls. And you could toggle between the two modes just by tapping on the designated image. So if I tap on the camera, now we're in photo mode. If I tap back on the video camera, now we're in video mode, okay? And you can see the shutter button changes to the corresponding mode as you tap on it. So if I tap on video, now the shutter button turns into a video record button. If I tap on photo, it turns into a photo shutter button, okay? Just below your shutter controls, we have a shortcut toggle to switch to the front-facing camera. Now, you can also switch to the front-facing camera using the image slider on the joystick itself, okay? Or you could just tap on the shortcut on the screen. So you can see if I tap on this, takes us to the front-facing camera. How you guys and gals doing this evening? Tap on it again, takes us back to the rear-facing camera, just like that. Then just below that, we have a shortcut to take us into the ZY Play gallery. So if I tap on this, it's going to take us into the gallery. And this is a separate gallery from the gallery that's on your device. So I like how they keep everything nice and organized here. And you know, you can organize this how you see fit, and you can erase and do all that good stuff. And this is a completely separate gallery from the gallery that's on your device out of the box. So really good stuff there. Okay, so that's what that little mountain with the sun picture means. That's a shortcut to the gallery. Okay, let's jump back. Good stuff there. Now, right next to your gallery controls, y'all will see like a little iron sight button here. And let me angle down so I can show y'all what this means here. So if I angle the camera down, now what the iron sight is the iron sight is the object tracking control. So if there was a particular object you wanted the gimbal to track by itself, so you didn't have to do anything, then you would tap on that little iron sight control. So let's do it now. Tap here. Then you just need to drag and drop. You're going to drag and outline the object you want the gimbal to track. So you can see it's going to make a nice red box. Then when you've outlined the object you want tracked, all you have to do is let go. And now the gimbal is going to track that object and try to keep it in the frame. Okay? So that's how you would turn on the object tracking for the Smooth Q gimbal inside of the ZY Play app. And if you want to turn that off, you can see a little exit X button popped up. You just tap on it and it turns it off, and it turns off the object tracking. So that's how you would use the object tracking with the front or the rear facing camera on your device, and the Smooth Q Gimbal with the ZY Play camera app. Okay, so that's all of these settings on the left hand side of the camera app. Now let's jump over to the other side, and as I said, we're going to save the sub settings for last. So right below the gear icon in the upper right hand corner, we have our modes icon here. Okay, so if we tap on this, we can see all the different modes that the that the Smooth Q Gimbal is capable of. So you have regular video mode, you have slow motion, you have time lapse, and you have moving time lapse. Okay, and if you tap on these, you could set the different modes. All right, so slow motion, time lapse, and it will take you to the corresponding settings. So you could set the time lapse, you could set the interval, you could save the format, so on and so forth, depending on what you tap on here. Okay, so that's how you would do that. And same thing goes for moving time lapse. So you do the same thing. You set your focusing point, you set the autofocus, you set the zoom, and you set the time controls and your focus points for the time lapse, and then you hit go, and it will give you a nice stitch together time lapse there. So that's how you would do the moving time lapse. Let's get out of that. Alright, then it changes if you go to photo mode. So if I switch to photo mode, you can see that changed to a box with a nice little HDR in it. And if I tap on it, this is your different photo modes. So we got single shot, we got burst shot, we got panoramic photo, and we have all of our timer controls, including our HDR controls. Okay, so you can see you get different settings depending on if you're in photo mode versus video mode. Okay, let's go back to video mode real quick. Boom. Now, just below the mode setting, the little camera with the sliders in it, that's how you would change your different resolutions, so on and so forth. So you can see the first option here is your resolution controls. Okay, so you, depending on your device, that's the different resolutions you'll get in here. So you can see we're using the S7 Active for this video here today, but for some strange reason with the S7 Active and the S7 Active only, it doesn't pick up the 4K or the 1080p 60. It just picks up 720p and 1080p 30. Now, with my S6 Active, with my Google Pixel, with my iPhone 6s Plus, it picks up all of the necessary resolutions. So 4K, 1080p 60, so on and so forth. It's only with my S7 Active that it doesn't pick up all of the video resolutions. But I'm okay with that because I generally shoot in 720p anyway. So that's not a big problem for me. But if you guys and gals were wondering and you had the same device as me, why it's not showing up, I think that's a software glitch. They need to release an update to fix that. So y'all just have to be on the lookout for that update that will fix that, hopefully. Now, just below that, you can see your photo resolutions in here as well. So you can do maximum photo resolution photos in here as well. So in particular, with the S7 Active, that means you can take photos in 4032 by 3024 resolution. Okay? And that's how you would change the resolutions for your video and your photos. Just below that, we have all of our scene modes here. So we got auto mode, sunny, cloudy, fluorescent, and incandescent. Okay, so that's your scene modes. Just below that, this is where you would turn on your manual controls. Now by default, it comes turned off. So you can see it's in the closed position. But if you want to turn on manual controls, you just put it in the on position. And now y'all got a nice little slider down here that lets you adjust the focus, the exposure, the ISO, the white balance, your focus controls in general. So if you want a nice close focus, or you want a nice wide focus, or you want to set it to autofocus, you could do that here. And you can do your zooming in and out from here as well. That's what the WT is. So you get full manual controls inside of the app itself. So good stuff there as well. Okay. That's that. Now, if you don't like that, you're not comfortable with it, you just jump back in here and you go into manual controls and you put it back in the closed position and it goes away. Okay? So that's the manual controls and how you turn it off and on. Just below that, we have our grid lines. So if you need assistance lining up a photo or lining up a particular video, they have a few different things that can help you out. So they have none. So if you don't want anything blocking your composure window, if you need the 3x3 grid, they have that. If you want the grid and the diagonal, they have that. So you just line it up in between the box and the X, you're good. Or if you're like me and you just like that center point iron sight, they got that center point for you. This is actually what I like to use. It keeps me focused. So that's why I like to use it. But y'all play around with these things and you figure out what works best for you. Okay? So that's that. Okay? So that goes over all of your guideline controls. Then just below that, we have flash controls. Now, this is pretty much standard. You have on, auto, open, or steady light. So you can let the app decide and your camera decide. You can decide, or if you need a steady light to light up the scene, you just put it on steady, and then now you have light from your device, and you can control that directly from the app. So really good stuff there. Now I generally like to use natural light, so I leave that turned off. Okay, but y'all play around with it and you choose what works best for you. Okay. Now, this is the last thing we have in here. We have our image stabilization, or EIS, and you could toggle it off and on from inside of the app right here. So the neat thing is, if you had a device that doesn't have it, if you load up this app and use the gimbal, now you have EIS plus the gimbal to give you some nice stabilized footage. Okay? So that's that. Now, in particular with the S7 Active, we do have OIS and EIS. So it's up to y'all whether you want to use it or not. Okay? So that pretty much goes over your modes and how you would adjust your resolutions and your flash controls, so on and so forth. Alright? And then let's get into the last option here. So we have our scene modes here. Now, out of the box, you have follow gimbal, you have walking, you have motion. And the next ones after that are custom profiles that I made. Now, if you want to set up a custom profile for your gimbal, you just tap on the custom icon here. So we'll tap on this. And then this will take you to where you have full controls over all of the gimbal settings and the motor controls. So you can control the pan, the tilt, the speed of the joystick, so on and so forth. You can even reverse the controls as well in here. And once you've set everything to how you would like it, so you just tap on it, you scroll to the number that you want, you let it go, hit the checkbox, it's set, and then when you have everything set up the way you want, now you play around with it, because once you set the number, it's set, so you play around with it, and once you find something that you're comfortable with, you leave it at that number. Once you set everything to what you want, hit save, give it a name, save, and then that's how you set up a custom profile for the gimbal. Now, I already have it set to one of my favorite custom profiles, but I just wanted to walk y'all through how to do that. Okay? So that's that first thing there, your scene modes and how you would set the custom profiles. Next, okay, we have our application modes. Now, by default, it comes to phone camera app, but you could also set it up for phone controls. So if I turn it on to phone controls here, it will gray out the camera. And then if you want to use the app to control the gimbal, you would go into joystick mode, and now you got full control over the gimbal using the app. So, let's say you wanted to shoot with a specific device, but you wanted to control the gimbal from a different device. Well, you would Bluetooth up the gimbal to the device that you want to control it with, and then you would leave the device that you want to record with or take a photo with in the gimbal, and this is how you can control the gimbal with a separate device. So You can control the pans, the tilts, the locking motion, so on and so forth from here. And you just move the joystick around and then it moves the gimbal. Okay. Now y'all can't see it because I'm doing a screen recording, but all I'm doing is dragging it to the necessary area and it controls the gimbal, no problem. So if you wanted to control the gimbal from a different device, this is the mode that you have to put the app in and then pair it up to the device that you want to control the gimbal with. Okay? And once again, you could do the same thing as in setting up a custom profile. So you can set it how you want. You can lock it. You can reverse the controls, so on and so forth. Okay? So that's what that phone control means in the app modes. Alright? And then to turn that off, you just jump back in here. And then you put it back into phone camera mode. And then it goes back to normal. You push OK. And you're good. Alright? So those are the different application modes. And then we already covered the joystick mode. And then we have the hand wheel mode here, which is similar to handheld mode. So I pretty much don't use it because I prefer handheld mode. But y'all try it out and you decide what works best for you. Okay? Alright. So, this goes over all the modes of the gimbal here. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into the subsettings. Alright, so we'll hit the gear icon and right away you can select the different quality modes that you want the gimbal to be set to. So out of the box, it comes with 4. You have optimize, you have quality, you have equilibrium, and you have excellent. Okay, so y'all play around with these. You take different photos, you take different videos, and you decide which one you want to use. Then right below that, we have the panoramic stop times, and you can adjust it just by sliding here. So you set the different times for the panoramic photos or the panoramic video right in here. Okay, so that's up to y'all. Now you can go all the way up to 30 seconds, or you can have no time set whatsoever right here. So that's how you would do that. And then if y'all feel like this mode is a little bit too much for you, you want something a little bit simpler, a little bit more streamlined, you can switch from normal mode to simple mode and then hit OK. And now you have a more streamlined approach to the ZY Play app. So you can switch to your mode just by swiping up and down. So you got panoramic photo or video, you got regular photo mode, you got recording mode for video, time lapse, motion time lapse, so on and so forth. And this is actually my favorite mode to use because it takes all of the fluff out of the way and lets you get down to doing what you need to do. And you can see we still have our timer controls or our flash controls, HDR controls. We still have all that good stuff here. If we want to adjust the settings, we hit the little settings gear icon. We can adjust our resolutions. We could do our guidelines. We could adjust our parameters or set our custom profiles that we already configured, so on and so forth. So we still have full control over the app even in simple mode. But if you want to get out of simple mode, you just tap right here in the settings to take you out of simple mode here, and we're back to normal. Okay, so that's what that simple versus normal is in this deeper subsetting right here. Then right below that, right below camera, which is what we were on, this is where you would go if you need to calibrate the motors. Now if you want 6-axis calibration, you tap that, or if you just want motor calibration in general, you tap the motor calibrate, you follow the on-screen instructions, and you'll get the motors calibrated to your liking. Now we already went over this. This is how you would configure the different controls for the gimbal and the joystick controls and the speeds, so on and so forth. We covered that already. Then we just have a general button here, and this lets you know the model number, the device, and the software version. And then lastly, we have a live button here, but I can't read it because it's in Chinese, so I have no idea what that says. Okay, so that's all the different modes for your Smooth Q gimbal, and that's how you would change up and set certain things to your liking. And honestly, y'all, when I'm using this, all I do is go here. After I set my custom profile, I go here, I keep it on excellent, and then I go to simple, and then this is how I use the app with the Smooth Q gimbal. So whether I need to record a video, whether I need to snap a photo, so on and so forth, I do everything from simple mode. And another benefit of doing things from simple mode is the fact that for some reason, if you're trying to use the ZY Play app and the gimbal in normal mode, then when you go to record a video, sometimes but not always, it will record a piece of the video and then it will only record the audio. And I found the only way to fix that is to use the app in simple mode. If you use the ZY Play app in simple mode, you don't have any of those problems. So you could take photos, no problems. You can record videos, no problems. So that's the only workaround that I found for that. I think that's a little bit of a bug that Zhiyun needs to fix, but it is what it is. Okay, so if you want to take full advantage of the app, you're going to have to get used to using it in simple mode. Okay, but this pretty much goes over the full ZY Play companion app for your Smooth Q gimbal. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video and or found it helpful. If you guys and gals did enjoy this video, y'all know what to do. Please help your boy out and give the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. Now, y'all stay tuned because next week, I'm going to have another video for you guys and gals going over all of the different modes of the Smooth Q gimbal itself and going over what all of the different controls are on the Smooth Q gimbal itself. So that one will be coming out sometime next weekend. So you guys and gals stay tuned for that. Okay? That being said, I hope everyone has a great evening, and I will catch you guys and gals in my next video. Okay? Peace, everybody.